Hey everyone. So took the CYSA Plus last Friday and I passed. However, it was my second time around. A week before I failed. But this time I passed, so it's all good. I got a 761 and you need a 750 to pass. So barely made the cut, but hey, passing's passing. So on my test, I got 4 performance-based questions right off the bat, and then 75 multiple choice questions. Everybody says to skip the PBQs and then do them at the end. So that's what I did on the first exam, or the first time I took it, and I didn't do that this second time around. Maybe it's because I had a little bit of insight as to what they were about, but do whatever makes you comfortable. Either way, whether you do them first or last, I always double check anyway. So um, that's probably something to think about. As far as the multiple choice is concerned, I always do the same thing I do for all tests. I'm able to deduce or get rid of 2 answers right off the bat and then kind of boil it down the last 2 based on the criteria of the question. A lot of times you'll notice the question emphasizes a certain word. How will this best fix the issue? What is the next thing to do um, in this chain of events? So those are definitely some things to think about when taking the exam. Otherwise, go with your gut. Flag any questions that you're not sure of because you could always review them at the end and then get through that end survey as fast as possible. Um, so this test actually I took at home, just right here, and it was great. I had the online proctor exam set up, so I downloaded the software. I had to take pictures of everything and then got in front of them. I was allowed to have a water bottle. That was fine. And they give you like a whiteboard application to use, but I didn't even open it, to be honest. This wasn't something where I needed to draw anything out like in past exams. So just know that it's there if you do want something like that. It's there for you to use. I noticed when I was taking the test, the first time I said a lot of things out loud because I have to read the question like 10 times. Halfway through the question, I'll immediately forget. So I start over, start over. I say it out loud. I'm looking around, and the proctor, I think that's what it's called, they pinged me in the chat and they're like, hey, stop talking out loud. And I think that's because maybe they think I'm asking like a smart device that's on mute that could possibly be feeding me answers. Maybe there's like a monitor behind or something somewhere. Maybe there's an earpiece. I don't know, but they didn't like that, so I stopped right away, and everything was fine. It just helped me more than anything, but I ended up failing that one. So, but on the next test, I didn't do any speaking out loud, but I'm full of caffeine because I drink uh, copious amounts of coffee in the morning, and so I'm just kind of moving around, jittering, and I would go like this a lot, and I would always cover my face. And I think halfway through the exam, they pinged me and they're like, "Hey, refrain from covering your face." And I'm like, "Okay, sorry about that." And then everything was fine. But you just got to kind of watch what you do, and things will be pretty good. They didn't really interfere much. Um, so a couple of the resources I used to study, and I will try to post links down below. But I used Jason Dion's Udemy course, Udemy, not sure, quite sure how to say it. That was pretty helpful. Just watching, he's going over all the objectives, all the domains, and taking notes. The study guide that they give you is pretty in line with the video, and the notes that I took didn't really help. Watching the videos helped more than anything, just getting down those concepts of what they were going to be expecting on the test. And that comes with one practice test, which I took like 4 times until I started getting into the 90s. I also took or purchased the Total Seminars practice tests on Udemy as well. That comes with 2 practice tests. They were like, I don't know, 85 questions apiece. And I just took those until I started getting 90s and up. And then really writing down the ones that I didn't know for sure. And then just trying to master them. I'm not I wouldn't say any of those questions are on the test, um, like duplicated, but they're similar. So you really have to look at the way that the questions are being asked and try to understand what they want you to do um, in each scenario. So I also wrote down a bunch of index cards of just port numbers, acronyms, things like that until I really understood kind of what they meant and all these different phases of like risk assessment and pen testing, kill chain, and frameworks, trying to get a better understanding of those. And that seemed to help me pretty significantly on the test. I know you can look for pre-existing decks on Quizlet. They have a lot of different decks that people have uploaded. I didn't upload mine, I just kind of had my own, but they seem to work out okay. And another thing I did was Google. I just Googled, CYSA plus practice tests. That helped a lot. Just being able to get different kind of resources rather than just the Udemy practice tests. I know one was GoCertify, and they would have like 10 question quizzes, and just I worked on those. There was one other application I used on my phone. It was just another CYSA plus practice test. You can look for it on the App Store or the Play Store and find it there for free. There are premium versions where you get more questions and less ads or more control over the app, but I didn't use that. So the last thing I used was the Reddit community. There's a big community on Reddit under CompTIA, and everybody posts about their exams and everything they use to prepare for their exams after they pass. There's people reaching out, asking for resources, and everybody is really helpful. So definitely hop on Reddit and check that out and make an obligatory I passed post once you do. So yeah, that was pretty much it for the exam. And now the next one I'm going to be taking is Pen Test Plus, getting into the fun stuff. So we'll see how it goes. All right, that's all I got for you today.